Hi everyone, Pomi here, and after taking December off for tournaments, we are back in January for our newest tournament, and I'm super excited to show off what I'm doing for my deck today. As you guys may have seen on my last couple of videos, you can see that I've been primarily focusing on one specific blader set of Beys. And you probably have guessed it already, it is Multi Nanairo's Beyblades, the Nightmail, the Helm Knight, the Wizard Beys, all that good stuff. It's going to be all used today. I'm super excited to show it off for you guys, so let's go ahead and get right into the combos that I'm going to be using. So when taking a look at Multi's current selection of Beys, I really wanted to try and cover all my bases in the best way that I could. In order to do that, I chose these 4 Beys to go alongside my journey. Now I know you must be wondering, but Pomi, aren't you only allowed to bring 3 Beys for a competitive deck? Normally, yeah, that is the case, but not for this tournament. This specific tournament through BeybladeX allows bladers to bring 1 extra Bey as their side deck. This side deck can be used after the first set of 3, where you can either swap one of the Beys from your deck for it, or you can swap around the parts with 1 single Bey of your choice. Now with that being said, let's get right into the combos. First, we have Nightmail on 360 Low Rush. With its bulky and heavy design, this Bey is going to be my primary attacker. I go into more detail on this combo in my last video on it, so feel free to check that out for more, card on screen now. My next Bey is Helm Knight, or Night Shield, on 080 Hexa. Hexa is a no-brainer when it comes to defensive builds, just because it really tanks hits like it's nothing. I was originally going to use 760 on this combo, as I did in my previous video on Helm Knight, but I decided to go with 080 this time, just for some variety since most people use 760 Hexa for defense. Also, doesn't the green on the ratchet match super well with Helm Knight? That may have been a huge part in why I used it today. Third, we have Wizard Rod on 960 Ball. Do I really need to explain why I'm using this? It's one of, if not the best stamina build in all of BeybladeX. It's so good that I've intentionally avoided using it until now, since I didn't really want to abuse the meta in my tournaments. But now I have an excuse to use it, so I might as well, right? And lastly, we have my side deck, which is Night Lance on 760 Point. I don't really intend on using the Night Lance Blade today, since I feel the other Beys already do what it can, but better. But I really wanted to bring this along for part variation. I was told by some of you in the comment section that Nightmail is more consistent on 360 Point than 360 Low Rush, so I decided to bring that along just in case I'd like to get a bit more stamina on it. I also put 760 on Night Lance for the same reason, just for Helm Knight. So with all that being said, let's waste no more time and get right into the matches, since we have a lot to cover. Round 1 has me up against Beetle Buggins. Today they brought a more defensive deck alongside them, so let's see what we can do. Battle 1 has my Nightmail against their Tyrannobeat on Bound Spike. Their Tyrannobeat just barely had enough stamina to outspin Nightmail, and it was this moment that I was really glad that I brought Point alongside my sideboard. Battle 2 has Helm Knight against their Unicorn on Free Ball. Despite Free Ball having more stamina than Hexa on paper, Helm Knight managed to get some good hits on Unicorn, which resulted in an outspin in our favor. The third battle has a Wizard Rod Ditto. With my Wizard Rod on ball, we managed to outspin the other Wizard Rod on die. The fourth battle of set 1 has my Nightmail against their Wizard Rod. And just when I thought Low Rush was going to disappoint me once again, Nightmail just barely squeaked out a win on their Wizard Rod, resulting in a win on the first set. Going into set 2, I decided to swap over my low rush bit from Nightmail to my point bit from my sideboard to give myself a bit more stamina, and I also decided to swap around the order of my Beys, starting with Helm Knight instead. The first battle has my Helm Knight against their Unicorn. Helm Knight managed to sneak right under Unicorn's blade, resulting in a burst. The next battle has my Nightmail versus their Tyranno Bee. And after taking center, Nightmail managed to get some big hits on Tyranno Bee, netting us a spin finish. And again for the third battle, we have a Wizard Rod Ditto. There's something about the tilt of their Bey that just smacked my Wizard Rod perfectly into the pocket. After shuffling my deck, I decided to start with Wizard Rod just to try and squeak out one more point, while Beetle decided to stick with their Tyranno Bee. And as expected, Wizard Rod got an outspin on their Tyranno Bee, giving us the win on round 1 of Swiss.
Yep, that's 4.
I was feeling pretty confident after this first round. Honestly, my deck was performing very well and the combos that I set up were doing very good. I guess it should be to no surprise since the deck that I currently have today is probably the best one that I've ever had. I mean, there's Wizard Rod, there's Nightmail, and even Helm Knight may not be meta, but it's still very solid. I mean, you guys have seen my previous videos. You know, this is probably objectively the best deck that I've done so far. Another thing to note is that Low Rush really was just underperforming with its stamina, so what you're going to see a lot is once we hit round 2, I'm going to probably swap the bit on Nightmail from Low Rush to point, just because I want to have that extra stamina. But let's go ahead and move on to round 2. Moving on to round 2, we have myself against HK Multi. Today, he's using some really interesting parts in his deck. It's not too often that you see a gear flat in a competitive setting, so let's see how it went. The first battle has my Helm Knight against their Cobalt Dragoon. Luckily, we dodged those really hard attacks from Dragoon, resulting in a spin finish. Next battle has Dram Buster against my Nightmail. Sadly, we hit the extreme line a bit too much, resulting in a spin finish for HK Multi. The third battle has yet again another Wizard duo. And this battle really goes to show how my luck turned for the worst from here on out. My Wizard Rod unfortunately got knocked right into the pocket right after we launched. Really? Well, anyways, the fourth battle is his Dram Buster against my Nightmail. I know it's hard to see what just happened there, but sadly we were knocked into the extreme pocket instantly, resulting in us losing that first set. For set number 2, I once again swapped my Low Rush for point, and I'm immediately putting it to use against HK's Wizard Rod. Despite getting thrown into the pocket, we still won the battle due to Wizard Rod bursting first. The second battle of set 2 has Helm Knight against Dragoon once again. Helm Knight did his job perfectly and managed to win with an outspin. The third battle has my Wizard Rod against his Dram Buster. And with a hit like that from Jam Buster, anyone's Wizard Rod would burst. After reshuffling our decks, we happen to have a rematch of the last battle. Sheesh, these battles are going by quick. Wizard Rod deflected Drain Buster right into the pocket, getting us the win for set 2. The set score is now 1-1, so it all comes down to this. Battle 1 has Nightmail against Drain Buster. Sadly, Nightmail got smacked right into the pocket, giving HK Multi 2 points. Battle 2 has my Wizard Rod against his Dragoon. Wizard Rod did what it does best and outspanned the opponent. The third battle now has Helm Knight against Wizard Rod. This result is exactly what you can hope for in this matchup, otherwise you're 100% getting outspanned. And for the fourth battle on the third set, I decided to play it safe with Wizard Rod while HK went for Dragoon. And sadly, Wizard Rod could not get us that last point. Instead, it got thrown right into the pocket, costing us the match. My main takeaway from round 2 is to just not over-rely on Wizard Rod. It really costed me at the end there. There's still some holes in its stamina and defense. It's not as invincible as people make it out to be, but that's all I really had to take into account for the next rounds moving forward. Alright, with some new introspection, I am ready for round 3. For this round, I'm up against Yogg. He has some pretty good meta combos in his deck today, with both Silverwolf and Arrow Pegasus. The first battle has my Nightmail against his Silverwolf. My confidence in this matchup really shows here, as I'm able to knock Yogg's Wolf straight into the pocket. Battle 2 has my Helm Knight against his Impact Drake. This is going to be a big test for my defensive launches. Those hits were actually insane, but thankfully, since Impact Drake drains a lot of stamina with the rubber after it hits the walls, we managed to pull a win there. The third battle has my Wizard Rod against his Pegasus. I went into this fairly confident, but I also knew not to put all my faith into Wizard Rod. And just as I said that, this is another example on why you can't put all your faith to the meta, and it's also another testament on how horrible my luck was for this tournament. After a routine shuffle, I put my Helm Knight against his Silverwolf. Seeing the tight matchup, I really made sure to launch extra hard for this battle. Wow! And it paid off. Helm Knight knocks Silverwolf into the extreme pocket, giving us the win for the first set. If I want to get on that podium, I'm going to have to go for set 2, I of course swap my Nightmail's bit to point, as I am now facing Yogg's Pegasus once again. With some explosive hits from both Beys, Nightmail knocked Pegasus into the pocket, giving us an early lead. For the second battle, we have a rematch between my Helm Knight and Yogg's Silverwolf. And unfortunately, the battle went just about as expected, with Silverwolf outspinning Helm Knight. For the third battle, we have Wizard Rod against Impact Drake. Please don't let me down again, Wizard Rod. And it didn't. We got a pretty solid parry there from Wizard Rod, knocking Impact Drake into the pocket and netting us a win for the set. Winning this round really was the confidence booster that I needed. After losing that last round, just barely when I had 3 out of the 4 points that I needed, it really kind of dampened my mood, but being able to get a win like this really made me relax and just take a deep breath, and I was super excited to move on to round 4. Round 4 has me up against a fellow Rhino Horn lover himself, Super Koopa. Koopa has been consistently performing well in tournaments over the past couple of months, so it was very exciting to play against him in bracket. Battle 1 has both of us putting our self-proclaimed Rhino 2.0s against each other.
Players ready? Players set. 3, 2, 1, go.
And Koopa is immediately showing off why he is one of the best by knocking my Nightmail into the extreme pocket. That's a rough start for me. For the second battle, we have Helm Knight against Cobalt Dragoon. This match took a couple of tries due to us tying? I'm not sure, but we take those. Here's the true second battle. Helm Knight knocks Super Koopa's Dragoon into the extreme pocket, tying up the score and keeping the stakes high. The third battle has my Wizard Rod against Koopa's Silver Wolf, or really just Ball versus Hexa. And as expected, Wizard Rod outspanned Silver Wolf, winning us the first set. The second set starts with Helm Knight against Silver Wolf. Helm Knight got the outspin here due to what I believe to be a difference in launch strength. Next up, we have Nightmail against Koopa's Dragoon.
Players ready? Players set. 3, 2, 1, go. I didn't use it because I want to use it on the rug, so I have the whole green set. I want to use the rug. I could have maybe just put a Cyclone instead. It's really good, but
I really thought Nightmail would have had that, but thanks to that pesky elevate bit, we barely got outspanned. The third battle of set 2 has my Wizard Rod against Koopa's Nightmail.
set. 3, 2, 1,
And just like that, Wizard knocked out Nightmail, giving us the win. It was super satisfying being able to beat someone like Koopa in bracket since he's been so dominating over the past couple of months. But that may have gotten to my head a little bit since I got totally destroyed in my next round. I went 0-2, but we can just glaze over that for time's sake. Let's see the top 8 announcement.
BeybladeX Oni and Super Koopa at table 1. Oh, no, sorry. Scarfy and Mark at table 2. So you and I are Ryosaki Beys and Trooper Zerk at table 3. And If I Die in Iceland and Pomi at table 4.
After finishing up Swiss, I ended up with a record of 3-2, which allowed me to comfortably move on to top 8. The stakes are getting really high now because even if I lose a single time, then that means I'm totally out of the bracket and I lose the entire thing. If I want to get on that podium, I'm going to have to go undefeated. My first match of top 8 has me against Iceland. Iceland has the same record as me with 3 wins and 2 losses, so this match should be pretty even on paper. The first battle has my Nightmail against his Silver Wolf on Unite. Sadly, Silver Wolf used its defensive shape to its advantage to knock Nightmail right into the pocket. Next we have a tough matchup for me with my Helm Knight against his Wizard Rod. With a good launch mixed with unfortunate positioning from Iceland, we managed to knock Wizard Rod into the extreme pocket. Battle 3 has my Wizard Rod against Iceland's Pegasus. And with yet another good launch, my Wizard Rod knocked out his Pegasus. After shuffling our deck, we are faced with a matchup that is all too familiar. Wizard Rod Ditto. This matchup really just comes down to whoever launched harder and whoever hit the extreme line more, and today I am the victor. Next is Silver Wolf against Night Helm. Helm Knight didn't have to do much there, as it dodged all of Silver Wolf's attacks and it burst itself. That's one set in my favor. Now on to the second set. I of course swapped my low rush for point on Nightmail as we are up against Arrow Pegasus. Nightmail got a lucky hit in, which caused Pegasus to speed right into the extreme pocket. The second battle has a rematch between my Helm Knight and Icewind's Wizard Rod, so let's hope I get a lucky win again. Well, so much for hope. Helm Knight sadly wasn't able to get any good hits in, so the battle ended in an outspin. Next is Silver Wolf against Wizard Rod. Wizard Rod got a perfect hit in there, knocking Silver Wolf into the pocket. And once again, after reshuffling, we have a Wizard Rod Ditto. And I once again am proving that I am truly the master of hard launching on string, with yet another outspin against a Winder user. Next we have Silver Wolf against Helm Knight. And surprisingly for the first time, my Helm Knight's 080 Ratchet burst. I was honestly expecting this to happen way more than previous rounds, so I'm glad that it held on for this long. And for the sixth battle, we have Nightmail against Arrow Pegasus. And with another lucky turn of events, Icewind's Pegasus fell into the pocket, resulting in a win of my first round of top 8.
Well, I can't really complain about those results, right? I got really lucky in that match. I really do feel bad for Iceland because I felt like he constantly got himself knocked into the pockets just by self KO or any sort of just slight luck that was on my side. I do think I also played well though, like with the Wizard Rod Dittos. I was able to launch harder than him, luckily, even with the string. But the fight's not over yet. I may be guaranteed for top 4 here no matter what happens in the next match, but I still want to win and get that #1 spot on the podium.
The semifinals has me up against Ryuzaki Beys, which is the same person that crushed me in Swiss, as you all may have noticed. Needless to say, the nerves started hitting really hard here, but either way, let's get into the first battle. First, we have my Nightmail against his Phoenix Wing.
3, 2, 1, go.
Unfortunately, Nightmail got knocked over the stadium, which in BeybladeX counts as an extreme KO that gives 3 points to Ryuzaki. Battle 2 has Helm Knight against Ryuzaki's Dragoon. Thankfully, Helm Knight knocked Dragoon out before it knocked itself out, meaning that we won the battle. Next up, we have Wizard Rod against Arrow Pegasus. And that was heartbreaking to see in real time. But I just kept telling myself that it's not over yet and that I still have a chance. After reshuffling, I decided to put Wizard Rod up front as I faced Ryuzaki's Phoenix Wing.
Alright, Silver. Wizard Rod later in the game. Later, ready? Later, set. 3, 2, 1, go.
And it worked out as Phoenix Wing jumped into the extreme pop. Next up, we have Helm Knight against Pegasus. Pegasus was just hitting way too hard for Helm Knight to handle it, as it got knocked into the pocket, winning Ryuzaki the first set. Set 2 starts with another Night Male Phoenix Wing battle.
3, 2, 1, go.
Again, just when I thought I had an early lead, I completely got it taken away from me with a last-second hit from Phoenix Wing. Next up, we have Helm Knight against Ryuzaki's Pegasus.
Ready? Later, set. 3, 2, 1, go.
Another battle, another pocket finish in Ryuzaki's favor. The third battle has his Dragoon against my Wizard Rod. Wizard Rod once again did its job properly and got us a point on the board. The fourth battle is a rematch of the last one, Wizard Rod against Dragoon.
Ready? Set. 3, 2, 1, go.
And again, Wizard Rod coming in clutch with an extreme KO that tied up the score. Next we have Helm Knight against Phoenix Wing.
Set. 3, 2, 1, go.
Back-to-back extreme KOs is exactly what I needed to put myself back into this match, and with that, the tensions couldn't be any higher. It all comes down to this last set, as it once again begins with Night Male against Phoenix Wing. Unfortunately, I was the one to self-KO there, bringing the score to 0-3. Next, we have Wizard Rod against Aero Pegasus. Thankfully, there were no surprise knockouts there, as the score is now 1-3. The third battle has Helm Knight against Dragoon. And for the second time today, Helm Knight 080 burst whenever it counted the most. The score is now 1-5. Going into the fourth battle, I bring Wizard Rod as Ryuzaki brings Phoenix.
3, 2, 1, go.
And with a critical burst finish from Wizard Rod, that wraps up the match with Ryuzaki defeating me once again.
Well, with that, I lost and I am out of the tournament. Well, kind of. We still had to do the tiebreaker for third place that I went up against Snarfy for, but after just a crushing defeat like that with just a lot of bad luck on both sides, but mainly my side, I just wasn't really mentally there whenever I was playing against Snarfy, so I totally fudged it and I went 0-2. I guess I shouldn't be too upset since this is easily the best that I've ever done in a tournament before. I mean, I was actually technically on the podium. Snarfy and I tied for third, but I lost, so I actually got fourth. So while I may not have gotten in the top 3, I was number 4, and I was still up there with everyone at the end, so that was really nice. I was really happy with this deck. I do think that Helm Knight performed very well, given that it's not really a meta Bey. It really sucks that I got those burst KOs a lot towards the end, just when it really counted the most, and I really needed that ratchet to hang on, it just didn't. But I guess going into a tournament, the odds are stacked against anyone. You know, you're more likely to lose the tournament than win it, so I guess I can't be too sad about it. And I mean, hey, I kind of still got a prize. I got 4th place, so that means I was able to get a random booster for Ghost Circle. Overall, I would say that this was a good time. I really hope you guys are pleased with my placing. because I did do very good considering all things. Let me know what you guys thought about the combos down below, what you thought I could improve on. But for my next tournament, I do have an idea for a theme deck for maybe another Persona member. So let me know down below what you guys want for that. Do you want me to do Kamen X first, or do you want me to do Bird Kazami first? It's one of those two. Since they both have 3 Beys, I can do a deck for both of those. I'd really like to hear your thoughts down below, but that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye-bye.